is Stacktastic, the weekly web show for the avid comic book reader and those who aspire to become so. Today it's time once again for Opinionation, where each month I share my own thoughts on the latest comic books I've been reading. And as always, you're welcome to share your own thoughts in the comments section. Plus, in the second half of the show, I'll give you my recommendations on what comics to pick up or download this week. Let's get started. For the last Opinionation, I focused on Marvel's big summer crossover event, Avengers vs. X-Men. So now I turn my focus to DC Comics' big summer crossover event, Night of the Owls. Between the two, this is definitely my favorite, but I have to say that Night of the Owls both lives and dies by its simplicity. On the plus side, since it takes place over the course of one night, it's an incredibly easy story to follow. This short time span allows for tons of action and great opportunities for character study. In fact, I'd say that the Night of the Owls issues for Nightwing and Red Hood and the Outlaws are both titles best to date. On the negative side, I'd say that the short time span also allows for little character crossover, one of the best elements of a crossover event. And while, as I said, there's lots of action, the stories are a tad too light on development. I think Night of the Owls might have benefited from a limited series to serve as a spine to the overall story, a structure that served Blackest Night quite well. But to be honest, with just a month's worth of issues instead of the entire summer, Night of the Owls might have indeed made the smarter decision to stay light on its feet rather than get mired down in pseudo-intellectualism. As for the Court of the Owls itself, while I'm enjoying the challenge to the Bat family for the dominance over Gotham, I'm not quite sure if I'd like to see them become a permanent member of Batman's Rogues Gallery. After all, faceless villains are a tough sell in the long run. Plus, I have to admit that even though these steampunk talents look awesome, making it so Batman is not Gotham's first vigilante makes him the teensiest bit less cool. But do pick it up, especially if you're a Batman fan like myself. And major kudos to all the creative teams, as these books look and read fantastic. Speaking of crossovers, Avengers vs. X-Men is taking forever to get started, and last week Avengers number 26 just made me plain angry. First off, Cap spent pages talking about how someone might die on this horrible suicide mission, and then literally toward the end of the issue, Ms. Marvel is like, wow, thank goodness no one died. This better be some major foreshadowing and someone's going to kick the bucket, or I'm going to be majorly ticked off. I know deaths don't stick in comics, but this is getting ridiculous. Now they don't even die? Also, I really hate to say it because he's a legend, but Walter Simonson's pencils in this look beyond amateurish. And there are years and years of comics that prove he can do better. Catwoman and Red Hood and the Outlaws were both very good this week, Red Hood in particular. These books might have gotten the wrong kind of attention when they debuted, but I haven't given up on them and have yet to regret it. Another book that improved considerably last week was Justice League. This new villain Graves shows promise, although I kinda wish he'd stayed in the wheelchair. Doesn't anybody stay in wheelchairs anymore? Plus, while I liked the renewed focus on Steve Trevor, I thought his dramatic scenes toward the end lacked a real punch because they hadn't been earned yet. Trevor's been gone for so long, I doubt many seasoned readers still have a connection to him, and new readers? Forget about it. Here's hoping he lives through this story arc and becomes something he's never been, a valuable member of the DC Universe. I think he can do it. And I finally got what Brian Azzarello is trying to do with Wonder Woman. He's turning it into the Greek mythology version of Fables. And I really dig it. Although it's kind of weird that Wonder Woman isn't the star of her own title. And Tony Akins, I'm so happy to see your pencils again on this book. If you haven't picked up Akins' work on Jack of Fables, do it today. This week, Saga got Super Brian K. Vaughan as Ghost Girl Isabel looks and sounds like she stepped right out of Runaways. I'm certainly not complaining, as I love Runaways, yet it does detract just a bit from the science fiction fantasy feel of the first two issues. But on the sci-fi side, I love the robot interrogation scene and how Prince Robert IV used his face screen. Static? Very clever, Brian K. Vaughan. Finally, I am loving Fury Max. I love it so much I recommended it to my dad, buying him issues 1 and 2 along with issue number 2 for myself. So imagine my surprise when I went home and opened up issue number 2 to discover a full-on graphic sex scene. Thanks, Marvel, for making my dad think I read porn. And I'd also like to note that once again, only the female character was showing off her private parts. How about some eye candy for us ladies, Ennis? But besides all that, it's a really good series. So that was last week's comics. What should you get this week? Well, first off, I think Resident Alien number 1 from Dark Horse looks interesting. An alien is left stranded on Earth, hiding out in a small town incognito thanks to his unique mental abilities, as he waits to be rescued. Yeah, plans like that never pan out. And check out that nice artwork on the cover, definitely worth a shot. Next, Batman Incorporated joins the New 52. I don't know about you, but I'm just excited to see Grant Morrison writing Damian Wayne again. Expect the usual Morrison trippiness. Then Justice League Dark gets a new creative team. I'm not sure what was wrong with the old one, but after his amazing work on Animal Man, it's hard not to get excited about Jeff Lemire taking on another title. Plus, Black Orchid joins the team? Is this going to tie into the green somehow? Also, have you been hearing about a certain Marvel wedding? Well, Astonishing X-Men number 50 is said to end with the most talked about moment of the year, which is most likely Northstar proposing to his boyfriend Kyle. Isn't the whole point of this gay marriage movement to make it not the most talked about moment, but perfectly normal? Finally, it's here, the final issue of Irredeemable. Is the Plutonian truly irredeemable? Time to find out. And that's this week's Stacktastic. I'm Grace Randolph for Think About the Ink, and hope to see you back on Friday for Between the Pages. Until then, happy reading.